Wow.
That's right. It's Monday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, CP3 coming to you live from the lab. As you see, we already got BrianB and ArunB already sitting, chilling, waiting for this great episode. We got some Nats talk. Not too much of a positive note with the Nats. They kind of went into the All Star break, not looking really good. They have a lot of injuries and some sweeps by some NL West teams that we're going to break down. And we're also going to recap the Stanley Cup Finals, just give a quick recap of the results. And we'll also have a great NBA Finals coverage from the NBA Roundtable as always, because they bring you the best coverage around. Because I learn something every time I listen to these guys. Brian, how you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing great, Carol. Thanks for having me on. Just finished a great day of work and excited to do the show with you tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. It was a hot one out there. I'm a little tired. That's why I already got my
Yeah.
my cold adult beverage already cracked in front of me. So, got to rehydrate. Some people say use water. I'd rather use beer.
Nice, man.
Hey, Arun, how you doing tonight, man?
A little tired, but otherwise good. The Nats have been playing pretty late this weekend, and I've also been watching a lot of soccer. But overall, can't complain that there's actually a busy sports mode.
Yeah, I was up watching some of those games too. I was getting disappointed at the outcomes of some of those West Coast games when you stay up late to try to catch them, and then to get some of the results that you get, yeah, it kind of sucked. But like I said, the Nats they definitely had some injury issues going on, and hopefully they can get healthy after the break and make a couple of moves at the trade deadline that are needed and a couple of moves that need to be made on the roster. I guess I'll go ahead and start off Nats talk with that. If you recall in the 2019 season, we had a pitcher named Trevor Rosenthal that we said over and over again that he shouldn't be on the team. And I finally put a tweet out that said the experiment needs to end. And ironically, the next day they ended up cutting. So I say that to say this: the John Lester experiment needs to be done. He's too inconsistent, and when he's bad, he's really bad. He's not lasting over 3 innings and giving up an average of 6 to 7 runs in his short appearances. When the 3 victories he has, yes, he's looked good, but the 7 losses look even worse. Brian, I'll go to you first. We talked a little bit about it offline. How do you feel about John Lester? Why do you think this team picked him up? Because I didn't understand the move either. And do you think it's time to put him to the wayside because he's doing more harm than good to this team?
Well, when the Nationals signed John Lester at the start of the season, I thought it was a really good move, honestly, because he's been in the postseason many times. He's won 3 World Series rings. He's been a great pitcher throughout his whole career. So I thought it was a good signing to add to. You already added to the rotation that has Scherzer, Strasburg, and Corbin all healthy at the time, of course. So I thought it was a good move. Of course, it hasn't quite panned out that way. John Lester has really been bad, and it almost feels like every start he gets even worse, which it seems hard to believe. I don't know if they're going to outright cut John Lester. I feel maybe he's a trade piece because he does have a lot of postseason experience. So that could go for a team that needs a postseason arm like that. But I agree with you, Carol. He's been bad, and there's no sugarcoating it. I mean, he's just really not lived up to his contract so far. And they need him, with the injury to Strasburg, they kind of needed him to have a big season, and he has not delivered at all.
Not at all. Maroon, what are your thoughts on the John Lester situation?
Yeah, he's only getting paid $5 million, and he's not even playing worth that much money. Like, so, he, since his last win, he hasn't made it past the fourth inning in his past 4 to 5 starts, and his ERA is right now 5.57. That's not going to get it done, and I don't know, trade him or maybe even cut him, given how little money he's making might be the answer, unless you want to see if he can salvage it going forward.
Yeah, maybe they can package him in a trade with someone that's, desperate for maybe his old form and think that he can, round back in the old form. Because to me, yeah, I'm not impressed with, anything he's really done. 3 wins, he gave, 7 innings, 8, I think 7 in the third, minimal runs. But when he's bad, it's just bad. And only flaw I have with Davey sometimes is that he sticks with the pitchers a little bit too long. He has faith in him, which is cool. But sometimes you got to say, hey, this guy, I need to get him out. The momentum of the game is changing and things are starting to go the other team's way. He's not throwing strikes. Let's get him out the game and giving up home runs. It's a bad combination. But that's definitely, I think, something that needs to be addressed after the All-Star break. Either put him in the bullpen or something. But him as a starter, I think, should be done and over with. I guess we'll touch a little bit on the injury situation, going into the All-Star break. Kyle Schwarber, he's out with the hamstring. Strasburg is still on the IL for, I believe, a neck issue. Yan Gomes, he just went out on this recent road trip with an oblique injury. Trying to think who else. I forgot to write it down. It was so many. But with this team being 42 and 47, 5 games under 500 at the All-Star break, even with the injuries, they went on they got hot for a little while, but then they cooled off on this recent 2 week stretch we about to go through. But I guess, Arun, I asked you, is this where you saw this team at around All-Star break? Even they're fourth in the division right now behind the Mets, with the Phillies and the Braves. And I mentioned last night on the show that Acuna Jr. for the Braves apparently blew his ACL and he's done for the season, which is definitely going to hurt the Braves in many aspects. But I guess I asked your opinion about that too. So did you see the Nats in this position right here and think they can get a push together to make a run in the second half of the season? And what do you think about the injury to Acuna Jr.? Brian, I asked you the same thing.
Just like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Nats in second place, and the last time we were on the show, and now to see them go all the way down to fourth is unfortunate. But there's still a lot of baseball left to be played. This road trip was not too kind. They can still make a run in the playoffs. And as for Acuna Jr., that's a tough loss. But I believe the Braves are pretty deep, so I think it should. I mean, the Braves, they could probably still play pretty well without him, but it's a tough loss for Atlanta.
Definitely. Brian, what do you think about the Nats and where they are right now and the injury to Acuna Jr. for the Braves and them trying to get their act together? Are they going to be able to, put something together, losing that big piece of their offense and defense?
Yeah, I thought the Nats were looking good before they went on this stretch of games against NL West teams, playing the Dodgers, then the Padres, and then the Giants, and then they're actually going to play the Padres again after the All-Star break. So it's a big stretch against teams from arguably the best division, the 3 best teams from arguably the best division right now in all of baseball. And it's really killed them. It's been difficult to see, honestly. It's been difficult to watch them struggle. I do agree with Arun that if they get a lot of guys back from injury, like if they get Schwarber back, if they get Strasburg back, that would be huge. And I think they can. With the second wild card, you're never really out of it. I think they can go on a second half run. They're going to have to dig deep. This is not how you want to end the first half of the season at all if you're the Nats, especially with all these injuries. It just sucks. We'll see if they can get it together in the second half. As far as Acuna goes, I was devastated when I saw the news that he got hurt yesterday. He is one of the bright young faces in this game. He is a star. He's an incredible player. He can do it all on the field. And to see him suffer that kind of injury is devastating, not just to the Braves, but really, I think, to the game of baseball as a whole, because he's such a great player. I disagree with Arun. I think the Braves are going to have trouble recovering from this Acuna injury. Freeman's a good player, but Acuna is their best all-around player for sure. And to lose that, to already be in, a division that's not easy, none of the teams are great in the NL East, but it's a tough division to manage. So to be down Acuna, it's going to hurt. I don't know. I think Atlanta could struggle, but I was absolutely devastated to see the news about Acuna, and I hope he gets well soon.
Yeah, I respect him, but with him being a Brave, I'm not a fan of his. And
of course,
right now Juan Soto just stepped into the batter's box for his home run derby. I'm not really a fan of him. Me and Brian spoke. I'm not really a fan of him being in the home run derby because you know how sometimes it can screw up a hitter's swing going into the second half, and the fact that he was on the IL earlier in the season and really hasn't gotten in his consistent stride yet. I'm not really a fan of him being in this competition because it might adversely affect him in the second half. Arun, what do you think about that? Do you think I'm just overthinking it and just let the young man have some fun, or do you agree with some of the things that I was saying about him getting his stroke back and getting to the hitter that we saw in 2019 and 2020 when he won the batting championship?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I remember some time ago, Cal Ripken Jr., he was in the home run derby. He won it and screwed up his swing, so there could be something to that. But Soto, I'm not really that worried about him. And he's probably just trying to earn the big payday like Bryce Harper did by winning the home run derby a couple years ago. So I think he wants to get this win to make more cash for himself.
Yeah, he taking a break. He has 9 home runs now with a minute 42 left. He was starting to, get into a groove a little bit. Brian, what do you say about with Juan Soto? And it might throw off his swing, and we haven't seen him get into the form that we're used to seeing, and this might adversely affect him going into the second half.
I think it's tough to tell with the home run derby, honestly, because we've had a few guys who have, had incredible home run derby performances. Bobby Abreu was a good example of that. He was incredible in the home run derby, and then he only hit like 3 in the entire second half. And then we've got guys like when Judge won the home run derby, he was fine in the second half for the most part. He still ended the season with 52 home runs. So I don't know. It's hit or miss with the home run derby. I'm excited to see Soto in it personally. I'm excited. This is a hell of a matchup, by the way. Soto versus Ohtani. I mean, damn, like that is a great match. That's probably the matchup of the night. I'm excited. So from that perspective, I am excited that Soto's doing it. You might be overthinking it a little bit, honestly, Carol. I think he'll be all right for the most part. We'll see though. We'll see.
I hope I'm overthinking it because we definitely need this young man to get back into the the swing of things. He's been getting his walks, and he has a great on base percentage, but we're used to seeing him getting those RBI doubles and hitting them home runs in crucial situations. So I guess that's what I'm looking forward to, especially with this last stretch with this team not being able to score, and against some of the tough competition in the NL West and the NL period. But let's go ahead and recap the week before, since we weren't on air for the holiday. I'm going to just run through these real quick, and then we'll break down more of last week's 2-5 week. The week before they went 3-4. They had a game against the Mets, a 2-game series against the Rays, and had a 4-game series against the Dodgers. The week started out very well with a 8-4 win over the Mets. Paolo Espino earned his second victory, puts him at 2-2. He went 5 innings, given 5 hits, no earned runs with 3 strikeouts. The losing pitcher was Jared Eichhoff. That dropped him to 0-1. He went 6 innings, giving up 8 hits, 5 earned runs with 3 strikeouts and no walks. Brad Hand earned his 17th save of the season, going an inning and 2/3, giving no hits, no runs with 2 strikeouts. Schwarber went 3 for 5 with 2 solo home runs. Trey went 2 for 5 with a solo home run. And Zim had a pinch hit 3-run home run to sealed the deal after a late push by the Mets to try to win the game late. But Zimmerman came in with classic fashion with a 3-run home run. Then they had a 2-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. They won the first game 4-3. Joe Ross earned his 5th victory of the season. I put him at 5-7. He went 6 in the third, giving up 6 hits, 2 earned runs with 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. Rich Hill took the loss. That dropped him to 6-3. He went 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 4 earned runs with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Brad Hand earned his 18th save of the season, going 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, 1 run with no strikeouts or walks. Schwarber went 1 for 4 with a solo home run. Soto went 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. And Robles went 1 for 3 with a solo home run. And in the second game of that series, the Nats put it on them, beating them 15-6. John Lester earned the victory. I put him at 2-3 at the time. He went 5 innings, giving up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Ryan Sheriff took the loss. That dropped him to 0-1. He went a third of it and giving up 3 hits, 4 earned runs with no strikeouts and no walks. Josh Bell went 2 for 3 with a 2-run RBI single and a RBI double. I'm sorry. Soto went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI singles, and Trey went 4 for 4, had a solo home run and hit for the cycle for the third time in his career, tying an MLB record on his birthday. The first player to ever do that in MLB history. So I've talked many times about how much I love Trey Turner, and I'm glad that we got him back after they traded him away the first time. And I love this kid being on the team, and I hope they lock him up to an extension very soon. Guess we'll break down the first 3 games before we get into the rest of the week. At least these are the bright spots of the week. Brian, what was your take on the game against the Mets and the 2-game series against the Rays? I know you enjoyed us beating up on your AL East foes.
Yeah, I enjoy you beating the Mets, and I enjoy you beating the Rays. So, yeah, the Rays are having another pretty good season. I think they're in second place right now to the Red Sox in their division. But they've struggled a little bit lately. So it's good to get those 2 wins. The Mets game was a makeup game from a previously rained-out game. Obviously, you want to win any divisional game possible. Really a great performance in both the Rays games. I saw both of those. Great performances, especially in the second game with Trey Turner hitting for the cycle. Probably the best performance of his career on his birthday, no less. We really thought that would give a lot of momentum going into this Dodgers series. That ended up not being the case necessarily, but still 3 good wins, and it just feels like they haven't been right since then, honestly.
Amen, brother. Room, what was your take on that 3 games, the win against the Mets and the 2-game sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, Schwarber hit home runs in the Mets game and one of the Rays game, and then they top it off. They had 15 runs in that other game you just mentioned, and Turner hitting the cycle was incredible. Also stole 2 bases, and going into that Dodgers series, they were 14-3 since June 3rd. The Dodgers came into that series winning 5 straight games, and they continued that winning. The Dodgers continued that winning streak, and they swept the Nats, and that was unfortunate. And it's leading up to this mainly kind of bad time for the Nats since they've been playing the NL West.
Yeah, we talked about the tough stretch that they had coming up with some of the better competition in the league, and they would definitely have to put their best foot forward. So that was before more injuries hit the team. So, yeah, that 4-game series against the Dodgers, I was feeling, optimistic that hopefully they could at least get a split. But unfortunately, they got swept by the world champion Dodgers. It was ugly. I'm going to run through these very quickly because, like I said, it was painful to stay up late, watch these games end up the way they did. The first game was a 6-2 loss. Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right. Cool. Hey, thanks, Brian.
Nailed it.
Hey, thanks. I've been practicing, man. He was 1-0. He went 3 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. Patrick Corbin took the loss. That dropped him to 5-7. He went 4 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those earned with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Soto went 1 for 3 with an RBI single, and Castro went 1 for 2 with the RBI single also. Second game of the series was a 10-5 loss where Julio Arias, who improved to 10-3, was dominant over the Nats while he was in the game. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs. 1 of those earned, 3 strikeouts and 3 walks. And Sam Clay took the loss for the Nats. That dropped him to 0-2. He went a third of an inning, giving up 2 hits, 3 earned runs with no strikeouts or walks. Nothing. The thing I'll just talk about this game is out of the 5 runs, 4 of the runs was on errors by the Dodgers. So that just tells you how bad the Nats were playing. In this series, the only way they were getting runs actually was by the other team making mistakes. It was an ugly series to watch. Third game of the series was a 5-3 loss. No, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this because I can't even read my hand right. The winning pitcher for the Dodgers went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs with 2 strikeouts. Like, no, I'm not even going to try it, Brian. I'm not even going to try.
It's fine. It's fine.
The losing pitcher was Walter Swirl. That dropped him to 0-2. He went an inning and a third, giving up 1 hit, 1 run that wasn't earned with 2 strikeouts and no walks. And Kinsley Jensen earned the save. That's his 21st. He went an inning, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs with 2 strikeouts and a walk. Yan Gomes went 1 for 2 with a 3-run home run. That tied the game up, but unfortunately the Nats couldn't get any more offense, and the Dodgers were able to. And the last game of the series where the Nats were trying to at least salvage 1 victory, they weren't able to do that. They lost the game 5-1. David Price improved to 4-0. He went 2 innings, giving up 2 hits, no earned runs with 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. Joe Ross took the loss, which dropped him to 5-8. He went 6 2/3, giving up 7 hits, 3 earned runs with 11 strikeouts and no walks. He had definitely a better outing than he's had before, but unfortunately he couldn't get the victory. Castro went 2 for 4 with the RBI single. He's been actually hitting pretty well. I believe he has a 14-game hitting streak now, going into the second week. Quick synopsis on this Dodgers series. Got to talk about it. World champs. Like I said, I was hoping that they would get at least a split, but they ended up getting swept. Brian, what did you take away from this series? Do you think this is saying how bad the Nats are or how good the Dodgers are?
It's kind of tough to tell because the Nats came into this series red hot, and obviously the Dodgers are a really good team. They're the defending World Series champions. They had won 5 games in a row going into this series. They're a damn good team. And the first 2 games of this series, just 1 bad inning, really. They gave up 5 runs in the 5th inning of the first game, and then the rain came and it got suspended, and they called it. So then in the second game, they gave up 9 runs in, I believe, the 7th inning of that game. And just 2 bad innings just absolutely doomed them in those first 2 games. The third game, I actually went to that game. And again, they gave up 3 runs to the Dodgers early, and then Gomes hits the home run to tie it. And you think, okay, they're going to win this one now. But then again, some bad defense. The bullpen kind of struggles a bit, and they end up losing a fairly close game, 5-3. And then just the Sunday game, Ross couldn't really get it together. I don't know. This is a tough series to tell. The Dodgers are a really good team. The Nats had come into it playing some good ball. It's tough to say, but it was obviously you want to win 1 game on 4th of July weekend at home against the Dodgers. You want to win at least 1 game. That's definitely a demoralizing series for the Nationals, for sure.
I agree. I was watching on the 4th, and I was highly disappointed. Arun, same question to you. Is this a show of how good the Dodgers are or how bad the Nats are?
It's 80% how good the Dodgers are and 20% the Nats were struggling. Also, Schwarber went down in the second game of the series. As Brian mentioned, like the last 3 games of the series, it was pretty close in the later innings, and then the Dodgers pulled away. And things are not going your way when Albert Pujols, 41-year-old, just caught out by the Angels, gets the go-ahead base hit in the 7th inning of the last game of the series. But I think losing Schwarber, the Nets aren't the same team without him, so that's probably the bigger note. Maybe they had him, maybe they win one of those games. And also, in one of the games, there was a rain delay after Gomes hit the 3-run homer. Perhaps that slowed down the momentum that the Nats had going, as Brian mentioned. So that's just the way it rolls. The Dodgers are really good, but the Nats have to play better to at least win one game.
Agreed. Yeah, it was a ugly series. Like I said, I saw some Dodger fans, after they had swept the Rays, and I posted a video of the game with Trey getting his cycle, and a couple of fans were talking trash like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Get the Dodgers. I didn't jump out there and say nothing because I saw how good the Dodgers were playing, but kind of glad I didn't because they Dodgers pretty much dominated that series. Even though, like you said, Brown, it was just bad inning here, bad inning there, but you can't have those bad innings against the world champions because you're going to pay for it, and they definitely made them pay for it. All right, now going into last week, after that 3 and 4 week getting swept by the Dodgers at home, the Nats went on the road. They had a 4-game series versus the Padres and had a 3-game series versus San Francisco. NL West teams, top of the division. And that's why it's going to be so crucial for the Nats to win the division because it looks like there's going to be 3 teams coming out of the West and there isn't going to be a wild card for anybody else. So if you don't win the division, you're not making the playoffs. So Nats definitely got to get it in gear in the second half of the season. The 4-game series with the Padres started out, pretty good with the 7-5 victory by the Nats. Suero earned the victory that put him at 1-2. He went an inning, giving up no hits, no runs with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Tim Hill took the loss for the Padres that dropped him to 5-4. He went an inning, giving up 1 hit, 1 earned run with a strikeout and no walks. Brad Hand earned his 19th save. He went an inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs with a strikeout and no walks. Trey went 2 for 4 with a solo home run. Josh Bell went 3 for 5 with a solo home run and a 2-run RBI single. And Escobar, who took over for Schwarber at the leadoff spot, went 3 for 4 with a RBI double and a sacrifice bunt to help get the Nats that victory. The second game of the series was a 7-4 loss. Ryan Weathers earned the victory. That put him at 4-2. He went 5 1/3, giving up 7 hits, 4 runs with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Eric Fetty took the loss. He went 4 1/3, giving up 8 hits, 6 earned runs with 2 strikeouts and no walks. And Melanson earned the save for his 26th. He went an inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs with no strikeouts or walks. Josh Harrison went 1 for 3 with a 3-run home run, and Soto went 2 for 4 with a solo home run. And I believe that Soto and Ohtani have tied with 22 home runs, and they're going to sudden death, I believe. Is that where
it's a swing off, I think. It's a swing off.
All right, I just want to check this out. I haven't seen this before, so I'm anxious to see how this goes. It says 3-minute time at bats, first 2 rounds, single elimination battle with most home runs advance to the next rounds. 2 minutes in the final round with 45-second timeout. All batters awarded 30 seconds at the end of the round. Award additional 30 seconds if they hit a home run 475 or further, and 1 minute at bats, no clock stoppage. Still tied, swing off of 3 swings per bat. All right, we got some excitement in the home run derby with our man Juan Soto with the Nationals.
It's living up to the hype. Living up to the hype, this matchup.
Yeah, definitely with these two. Because we talked about Ohtani a couple of weeks ago. I haven't really had a chance to see him, but, he's pitching and hitting in the All-Star game. That's crazy.
Beast.
Yeah, that's crazy. And one of my TVs is faster than the other. Because on one TV I have it already started. On the other TV, it hasn't even started yet.
Now you know how I feel.
Let's see, Juan is at 1 so far with 30 seconds left. So he's at 23. He might have another one. Yep. It's like 24, 15 seconds left. It's 25, 26, 7 seconds left.
I'm still 3 home runs behind.
Oh, wow. 28. So he ended up getting
Nice.
6 more home runs in that extra bonus minute. Hopefully that's enough to knock Ohtani out, but I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, Otani's a beast, and he went off in like the second half of this too. So we'll see.
I know that's what got me anxious, but I'm hoping 6 will be enough to push Soto to the next round. I'm hoping. All right, let me get into the third game of that Padres series before they start up. It was a 15-5 victory for the Nats. Corbin earned the victory, puts him at 6-7. He went 6 innings, giving up 7 hits, 2 earned runs with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Chris Panic took the loss. That dropped him to 4-6. He went 2 innings, giving up 9 hits, 9 runs, 8 of those earned with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Soto went 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run. Harrison went 2 for 4 with the RBI single. And Castro went 2 for 6 with the RBI single. And the last game of the series was a unfortunate 9-8 loss that I was very upset about because the Nats had an 8-0 lead and ended up giving up 9 unanswered runs. Melanson earned the victory that put him at 2-1. He went an inning, giving up no hits, no runs, with no strikeouts in the walk. Sam Clay took the loss, which dropped him to 0-2. He went 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run with no strikeouts and no walks. Trey Turner went 3 for 5 with a 2-run home run and a solo home run. Josh Bell went 1 for 5 with the RBI double, and Josh Harrison went 1 for 4 with the RBI single. Mad Max gave up after the Nats had built up an 8-run lead after 3 innings. Mad Max gave up 7 runs in the following inning, which allowed San Diego to get back into it. And this is what I was talking about, Davey sticking with the pitchers a little bit too long because Max had obviously lost his control in that inning, and I think he stuck with him a little bit too long. And by the time he pulled him out, he had already given up 5 runs, and then the other 2 that got inherited ended up scoring also. So, I mean, it doesn't happen that much with Max, but, sometimes when you can see that something isn't right, you got to get him out of there. So they split the series with the Padres, 2 games, 2 wins, 2 losses. Arun, what did you take away from this 4-game series, and did you agree with my synopsis on that Mad Max debacle, giving up 7 runs in that game?
Yeah, even though the series was a split, it kind of felt like a loss because of that last game where they're up 8-0, and Max, they were up 8-0 with the top of the order and 3rd inning with nobody out, and they still didn't score for the rest of the game. Max didn't seem to have it this game, unfortunately, in the 4th inning. I think even the starting pitching for most of the series, Fetty wasn't that good. Lester wasn't good either, but the Nats were able to overcome that and win 7-5. So that was a good comeback. And then Manny Machado he had 3 hits on his birthday, so that pretty much screwed over the Nationals. And the 9-8 loss for Scherzer, they probably could have taken it out early. I kind of agree with that assessment. And I mean, they probably have to score more than 8, especially given that they had 8 after the 4th inning, but it's unfortunate.
Definitely. And it, after the 1 minute swing off between Ohtani and Soto, they are still tied at 28 home runs apiece, going into, I guess, sudden death now, where they get 3 swings and whatever happens. That's crazy, Brian, that they actually both hit 6.
I love it. I love this, man. This is awesome. This is good for the game right here.
Oh, man. I know that this is crazy. I was like, somebody's going to come out of the second round on top, and they end up tying with 28 again. It's wild. Now, I got Soto on my one TV that's ahead of this one in front of me. First swing. And it's out of here.
Good stuff.
Nice. That's 29. See the second swing. And he hit it far too. Didn't like that pitch. And I think he liked that pitch because I think he took that one deep also.
Nice.
Top that. That's 30.
Does he still have one swing left, or?
Yeah, still one more swing left. Yeah, he's taking
Nice.
a couple. Yeah, he's taking a couple of pitches, and when he swung, he's connected.
Good stuff.
He's 2 for 2 so far. He's great at pitch selection. He knows a good pitch when he sees it. He threw that one off too. He didn't like that pitch. Oh man, this is classic, Brian. I must say this is classic.
I love it, man. I knew the home run derby in Colorado was going to be awesome, and it is living up to the hype big time.
Third swing. Did he get all of that? It didn't even look like he got all of that, and that was straight center field. So he
got 31?
Yep, 3 for 3, 31, 3 swings, 3 home runs. And that last one was far.
Nice.
Ooh, this is actually more exciting than I expected with the home run derby. I'm glad you reminded me to turn it on.
No problem. It's awesome. I do want to talk about that San Diego series, though, if possible.
Oh yeah, go ahead, and break that down.
I want to talk about that last game in particular, the game where they had an 8-0 lead, and Scherzer gave up those runs. He gave up a grand slam to a relief pitcher named Daniel Camarena, which nobody saw coming at all. I love Scherzer, don't get me wrong, but a relief pitcher hitting a grand slam has only happened twice since 1985. It's crazy to me that actually happened. I thought it was a really cool moment. I'm sorry it happened against the Nats, but it was a really cool moment, I thought, for baseball to have that happen. I can't believe they lost that game. That's definitely the worst Nats loss of the season. You felt good because they did, in the 2 games they won prior to that in San Diego, they looked pretty good, especially the game where they scored 15 runs. They had a 9-0 lead after the second inning. So it was looking good. And that grand slam by Camarena, I feel like just killed all the momentum the Nats had, and they just have not been right since then. They've lost 3. They lost that game, then they lost 3 in a row to the Giants. That was a momentum killer right there.
I wasn't trying to relive that moment, Brian.
I'm sorry, but it's baseball history. It needs to be mentioned.
Man. When I was watching when it happened, and I was disgusted because the commentator was saying, well, why don't they use a position player? It's still, you got a chance here to strike, and, you're using your pitcher. The other commentator was like, yeah, there's plenty of time left. He's trying to save some of his bench players for later on. And then the damn relief pitcher hits a grand slam. I was like, that didn't just happen. And it did. I was, at that point, like you said, the whole momentum swung, and I was like, this isn't a good sign. And they ended up losing 9-8.
Just like a devastating moment, honestly, for the Nationals, to give up that grand slam, just a totally unexpected source. He had just been called up the day before. This was his second day in the major leagues, and he hits a grand slam off Max freaking Scherzer. I mean, oh my goodness. It was. I thought it was awesome. I'm sorry it happened against the Nats.
If it happened to anybody else, I probably thought it was awesome too. But coming against Max in the game where I thought they were about to take 3-1 instead of splitting 2-2. Yeah, I didn't see the joy in it at all. I still don't see the joy in it at all. But it is what it is. Like I said, Max is pitching to start the All-Star game tomorrow night. So, is it tomorrow or is it Wednesday?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, it is tomorrow. Okay. All right, well, let's get into this unfortunate 3-game series against the Giants, which the Nats unfortunately got swept. So against the 3 top teams in the NL West, they got swept by 2 of them. That's not too encouraging, but similar things happened in the 19th season in the first half. They got beat pretty bad by the NL West teams, and we saw what they did in the postseason against those Dodgers. So I still take joy in that 5-game series with Howie Kendrick and that great home run off the fair pole. Some people say foul pole, I say fair pole. First game was a 5-3 loss. Jarlin Garcia earned the victory for the Giants. He went 1-2. I mean, that put him at 1-2. He went in and giving up one hit, no earned runs, with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Sam Clay took the loss. That dropped him to 0-3. He went in and a third, giving up one hit, 1 earned run with 1 strikeout and no walks. And Jake McGee, earned his 18th save, going 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs with 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Trey Barrera, who was a top prospect, I believe, with the organization, who got called up. He went 2 for 3 with a 2-run RBI triple, and Gerardo Parr went 1 for 3 with the RBI double. The second game of the series was a 10-4 loss. Anthony DeScalfani, I don't know why I like saying his name. He earned the victory. That put him at 10-3, and for some reason I did not write the stat line down. I'm pulling it up real quick. I was a little rushing a little bit earlier. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk. John Lester took the loss. That put him at 2-4. He went 2 2/3, giving up 9 hits, 8 runs. 3 of those earned due to error. 1 strikeout and 2 walks. Escobar went 2 for 5 with the RBI triple in that game also. Oh, is that right? Okay. And Josh Harrison had a fielder's choice where he got a run in. And at this point, it doesn't really matter. And at this point, it doesn't. After this 3-game sweep. And the last game of the series was a 3-1 loss. Kevin Gausman earned the victory. That put him at 9-3. He went 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 run with 9 strikeouts and 3 walks. Eric Fetty took the loss. That drops him to 4-6. He went 5 innings, giving up 8 hits with 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. And Jake McGee earned his 19th save of the season, going 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs with 1 strikeout and no walks. Josh Harrison reached on the fielder's choice to get a run in for the Nats' lone run. That drops the Nats to 42-47, 4th in the NL East, and not a good way to end the first half of the season. Brian, what did you take away from this 3-game series versus the Giants? They have one of the best run differentials in the league. Was it the best or the worst? I can't remember. I was watching it the other day. But yeah, they have one of the best, but they have so-called old roster. They don't think they can maintain this through the rest of the season and continue playing the way they're playing. You probably watched them closer than I have. So, what did you take away from this season? Do you think that the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres can continue doing what they're doing and lock up 3 spots for the playoffs?
Well, I mean, the Giants have been kind of a surprise all season. When this year started, we all thought the Dodgers and the Padres were both going to make the playoffs. But I don't think anybody thought the Giants were going to be this good. They've been a really pleasant surprise. Brandon Crawford, their shortstop, has been he's an all-star this season. He's been great. Their pitching staff is underrated and good. We've seen DeScalfani now win 2 games against the Nationals this season, the complete game shutout that I was at earlier this year, and now the game on Saturday. The Giants are for real. At this point, I think you have to say they are absolutely for real. They proved it in this series. Like I said, I really feel like a lot of the momentum for the Nationals went out the window with that grand slam on Thursday. And just to go into San Francisco off that loss was just crippling. The only game in the series I honestly really watched closely was the Saturday game, and that wasn't even close. They got blown out early in that game. So, yeah, a disappointing series for the Nats. That's not how you want to end the first half of the season. And to fall into 4th place, like Arun said, we were literally just talking about them being a 2nd-place team 2 weeks ago, and now they're back in 4th place. So it's frustrating for sure. It's not how you want to end the first half, but we'll see how the start of the second half goes.
No doubt. What do you take away from it, Arun?
Yeah, the Giants have been really good this season. They have a secured the best record at the All-Star break against the Nationals. Lester, pretty awful in this game, and I guess that momentum continued with that weird hitting. Phillips, Caselli, he just came up for Buster Posey. He hit a home run. And I guess the positive note is Starlin Castro. He has a 14-game hitting streak, so that's something to look forward to. Although it doesn't seem the Nationals have been playing pretty well since 14-game hitting streak, but we'll take what we can get. And Jan Gomes left with an injury, adding to the injured list of. But at least Strasburg, he pitched in a simulated game, so maybe he's going to come back soon, and hopefully. And Stevenson, he hit a homer in minors, but he could come back as well.
Okay, cool. I didn't know about the update about Strasburg, so that's good. Good to know. Let's get ready to wrap up this Nats talk, looking at the upcoming schedule. They get back to play on Friday. They have a 3-game series versus the Padres here after they just played the 4 games out in San Diego. Friday and Saturday are both 7:05 starts, and Sunday is a 1:05 start. Brian, didn't you say you had tickets to the game on Friday?
Yes, I am going to the Friday game. I'm very excited.
I need to get to some Nats games, man. You're starting to get me jealous. I gotta figure something
Yeah,
out.
man, I'm trying to go to as many as possible this year to make up for last year. Not going to any baseball last year hurt, so I'm trying to go to as many games as possible this year.
I definitely understand. What do you think in this series coming out of the break? Do you think the Nats can win 2 out of 3 versus the Padres and try to get back in the winning ways and shake off that reliever grand slam?
Yeah, they're going to have to at least win 2 out of 3 coming out of the All-Star break in the series against a tough Padres team. It won't be easy, but I think they'll win 2 out of 3. We'll see how the pitching staff lines up. I don't think they've announced it quite yet. I know Scherzer's starting tomorrow in the All-Star game, so I'm not sure when he's going to pitch next after the All-Star break. But we'll see how the pitching matchup goes. I'm really excited to go to the game on Friday because I love Fernando Tatis from the Padres. I just think he's an incredible player. I think he's an electric factory. He's incredible. He and Soto and Acuna and guys like that, Ohtani, are just good for the game, and I love watching them. So I'm excited to watch Tatis play, and it should be a good series.
Definitely. It was definitely entertaining when they was in San Diego. Can't wait to see what it looked like here.
They are a very entertaining team, the Padres. I got to say that.
Definitely, they were. I was up watching those league games, and they were entertaining.
Yes.
Ren, what do you take about this 3-game series? You think the Nats can take 2 out of 3 from the Padres at home?
Yeah, I think the Nationals can do it. They're a much better team at home. Like earlier this season, they split with the Giants, and just recently they were swept by the Giants on the road. I think they can maybe take 2 out of 3, and if they're lucky, if things all go well, they could potentially sweep the Padres. And I think even if they don't do well, the schedule after that gets pretty easy. They play the Marlins and then the Orioles. So I think it's time for the Nats to get some wins coming out of the All-Star break before the schedule toughens up.
Definitely. Quick look at the standings before we get in the NHL real quick before we get into basketball, because the NHL segment is going to be real quick. The Mets are 47-40 in first place. The Phillies are 44-44. Second place, the Braves are 44-45 in third place, and the Nets are 42-47 in fourth place, and the Marlins are 39-50 in last place. So Phillies are 6.5 out, the Braves are 7, and the Nationals are 9, and the Marlins are 12 games out of first place. So it's still a close division, still plenty of baseball left, and Nats have plenty of time to try to win that division crown and make the playoffs. Because as I just mentioned, it looks like there's going to be 3 teams coming out of the West. So got to win the division, or you're not making the playoffs. All right. Anyone have any final thoughts on baseball or what's going on in the home run derby? Trevor Story is up right now. Story versus Mancini and Soto versus Alonso going to the championship round. Story has 7 right now with 50 seconds left. In his time, he just took a quick break. Any final thoughts by you guys?
I don't even want to get into the Yankees. I could, but it would just be way too much. It would be way too long and way too much ranting. So we'll just move on.
Yeah,
You want me
I
to
don't
talk
even.
about the Yankees?
No, I do not.
A pretty incredible for Sanchez to do that Altuve top and then Altuve hit home run. I mean, that was. It was like that minor league moment for you.
Hey, where was his bad tattoo? Where was his? So apparently he didn't want to take his jersey off in 2019 because he had a bad tattoo. He had no problem taking his jersey off yesterday.
Maybe he had like spider tech on it.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe.
But I guess he gets it done. It was a pretty incredible moment, just like that Giants game was for you.
Shut up, Arun.
Arun always stirring the pot as always. All right, we're going to do a quick transition into the NHL segment. As you all know by now, Tampa Bay has won the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row, defeated Montreal 4-1. First game of the series was a 5-1 win by the Lightning. Second game was a 3-1 win by the Lightning. The third game was a 6-3 win by the Lightning. And in game 4, Montreal forced overtime and were able to win and salvage and not get swept. Win that game 3-2. And then in dramatic fashion, Tampa Bay shut out Montreal for a 1-0 win to win on home ice and to win their second consecutive Stanley Cup. First time since Chicago, the Penguins went back to back in 16, 17.
Yeah, I think it's since Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of feel the same way when Pittsburgh went back to back. I could really give a damn. But Brian, what did you take away from Tampa Bay going back to back, first with the pandemic season and the bubble, and this year with the condensed season? I'm not going to put an asterisk by it. They won. Boom, boom, they're the champion. But what did you take away from Tampa winning back to back and the way they pretty much dominated Montreal, who had got hot at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret I've been down on hockey lately, but I thought I've been impressed with Tampa Bay these last 2 years. These are two of the hardest years to possibly win the Stanley Cup, to go through what they went through. And last year with the bubble and now this year with condensed season, it's impressive what they've done. Shout out to Tampa Bay. Now they've got the Super Bowl and 2 Stanley Cups all in less than a year. That's very impressive. Not many cities can say that. I really, we talked a little bit about the Islanders Lightning series, but I really felt like that was the actual Stanley Cup Finals. Like, whoever won that series was going to win the Stanley Cup Finals. I didn't think Montreal was really going to compete too strongly. I mean, they went down 3-0. They won the game 4 in overtime to make a game 5, but really never really felt like it was in doubt. Tampa Bay was clearly the better team, and they deserved the Stanley Cup. And shout out to Ryan McDonough, former Ranger. Now he's got 2 Stanley Cups. Happy for him.
Pretty much, Arun. What is your take on Tampa Bay and their back-to-back championships?
Yeah, I'm wondering how good those Blue Jackets were that eliminated them in 2019, but now they're back-to-back. And since Tom Brady's been there, they've won 3 championships in Tampa Bay. So he's won 15 championships that happened when Brady's in that city in the last 21 years. So that's incredible. So Sully, he was great. And Bishop is your backup. I don't know. The Lightning were a pretty deep team, and we'll see if the Caps can hopefully beat them next year.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting for the Capitals next season with the expansion draft and, trying to get better, because after that championship run, they haven't got out the first round. So it's going to be very interesting off-season. And, I want to see another championship parade before Ovi retires. So hopefully we can get that to happen and can see that in the near future. And all we can do is hope to see that trophy again, because like I said before, I'm jealous seeing the picture that Robbie has with the cup, and I didn't get a chance to get a picture with the cup that year. I'm so upset. I got to make that happen. But that's pretty much our hockey coverage. I'm about to let these guys break down the NBA. I'm about to get off cam and let these guys, rock and roll. Is Tim going to join us, or is it going to be?
Tim said he's going to go to bed, but yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and step back. I'm about to switch to feed.
All right. So Arun, let's break down the first 3 games of this NBA Finals. It's game 1. The Suns won pretty easily. Actually, I'm going to pull up the box score now on my phone quickly before we get into it, really. But game 1, games 1 and 2, really, I thought were never really in doubt. Suns won them pretty easily on their home court in Phoenix. That kind of had us thinking that this would be a short series. The first game, the Suns won 118 to 108. It was honestly, I did not think as close as the final scoreline indicated. Just looking at the box score, Devin Booker had 31 points for the Suns in that game. Giannis had 42 for the Bucks. Everyone contributed for the Suns in this game. Chris Paul had 23 points. Your boy Mikal Bridges had 27 points as well. DeAndre Ayton had 10 points and 11 rebounds. A great effort from the Suns in game 1. They go up 1-0. Game 2, or actually that was, I'm sorry, that was game 2. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But anyway, the Suns won game 1. That was game 2. Let's get into game 3. The game 3, the Bucks won 120 to 100. They won it pretty easily on their home floor. The Milwaukee crowd was into it from the start. Giannis had another 40-point game. He joins the very exclusive list of guys to have back-to-back 40-point games in the NBA Finals. The Bucks absolutely needed to win this game to win the series, and they did. I thought one thing that was kind of noticeable, 2 things really from this game. One, now Chris Paul is 0-12 in playoff games that Scott Foster referees, which I think is interesting. I think it's a coincidence, but it's something to note. And also in this game, Giannis shot 17 free throws on his own. He made most of them, which is unexpected. He's usually not great from the line. He made most of his free throws in this game. But the Suns, as a team, only shot 16 free throws, which is a crazy disparity. It felt like the Bucks were getting to the line way more than the Suns were in this game. So, yeah, that's the series up to this point. It's 2-1 Suns. Game 4 is Wednesday night. I'm looking forward to it. Arun, what have your thoughts been on the series so far?
Yeah, overall, the games haven't been that close, but the series is still far from over. The Bridges exploded on the second game. I think pretty much everyone played well in game 2 except for DeAndre Ayton. He only had, I believe, like 11 or 12 points or something.
He had 11 points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah, but he came out pretty well in this game 3. He got in foul trouble, and after that third quarter, they were down 40 by 14. Then somehow the Suns were able to close it to, I believe it was like 5. Then the Kaminsky minutes eventually caught up, and they were blown out in that quarter. The Bucks went on an incredible run. Giannis, he had 41 points. I saw somebody say the opposite Kubos combined 41 points. Drew Holiday played well. Like Chris Middleton, like I believe Drew Holiday had more points in game 3 than he did for the rest of the series. He played plus 22. It was just like not really that close in the fourth quarter when Ayton foul trouble. I mean, the Foster thing doesn't look great. He said, I believe the curse started in game 7 when I believe they were the Pelicans or Hornets or whatever. I don't remember. New Orleans Hornets. Game 7 against the Spurs. Scott Foster said, "You guys are going to lose this game." That was like the urban legend behind the 0-12 quote. But I think the Bucks were probably going to win this game, but it's a lot of other coincidences like free throw disparity and Ayton getting in foul trouble. But I wasn't really thinking about the Scott Foster thing throughout this game. But I knew about it. So hopefully that changes a little bit in Chris Paul's favor going forward.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it a whole lot, honestly, until I saw it like online. It is something I think to keep note for sure. It's just crazy that you could have somebody as great as Chris Paul could have that type of record when one man is officiating his game. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Just looking at the box score again here. I mean, what more can we say about Giannis? I mean, we didn't even think he would play in this series. I mean, he was questionable right up until basically the start of game 1. And here he is. He's not only playing, he's kicking ass. Like, he's doing great. He scored back-to-back 40-point games. He's incredible. I just don't know, Arun, if the Bucks have as much depth and talent. I mean, Saric going down in Game 1 was a huge loss for the Suns, I feel. Frank Kaminsky is not nearly as good as Dario Saric. It's not even close. But that's a big loss. But even then, I still think the talent on the Suns will ultimately win out. What are your thoughts going into Game 4? Do you think the Bucks will even this up, or do you think we're headed towards the 3-1 Suns lead?
It's hard to say because I mean the Bucks are clearly a different team at home.
Yeah,
like Holiday and Middleton. I mean against the Nets they did pretty well at home. They did lose to the Hawks at home in Game 1 when Trae Young was on fire, but other than that, they've been stopping on people even with Giannis out of the lineup. I don't know. I think I still have the Suns winning the series. Brandon Jennings is calling Bucks in 6. Like I saw that again. I think Bridges will adjust. He's done a good job on Middleton. Holiday, I don't know if he can keep it up going forward. And Booker was pretty bad in Game 3, and I think he bounces back Game 4. And if I had to guess, I think the Suns win Game 4, but I mean Milwaukee is a good team, so you never know.
I agree that Milwaukee has a great home court advantage. Their fans are really into it, which is great to see. Even the fans outside, what they call the Deer District, I think is really cool in Milwaukee. But I agree with you. I think the Suns are actually going to win Game 4 and go up 3-1. I'm dying for a close game in this series, really. Because the series, you're right, it's 2-1, but we haven't really had a close, good game yet from start to finish. Every time you think the game's going to get close, Milwaukee kind of or the game at least the game yesterday, Milwaukee kind of pulled away at moments, and just every time you thought it was going to get close, I don't know. I'm looking for a good game in the series. Usually Game 4 is the pivotal, really close game in the series, so we will see. I'm looking forward to it. As far as first off, before we get into other NBA news, shout out to Trey Mancini. He just advanced in the home run derby, so he's in the final. Shout out to Trey Mancini as well, so Beltway represent. As far as other NBA news goes, what has there been on the Wizards head coaching hire? Because I know Wes Unseld Jr. has been rumored for a while. We've talked about Sam Cassell. I've seen a few other names. Who is the most recent name you've heard, Arun?
NORAD assistant coach, Wes Unseld Jr. But yeah, I believe a couple candidates that the Wizards were interviewing, like Mosley, he was interviewing for the Wizards, but he was hired by Orlando. The Pelicans, they just hired a head coach. So the Wizards,
Suns assistant, I think, actually.
Yeah, the Wizards are going to be I believe the last team to fill the vacancy. Somebody had said that Jay Wright was Tommy Shepard's first choice, but that was way long ago, and even that reporter said there's no way the Wizards are getting Jay Wright. So all signs are kind of pointing towards Wes Unseld Jr. Maybe they go in a different direction with NORAD because he's was an assistant coach for I believe Brad Stevens. He played under Brad Stevens at Butler, and he's only 33, so that would be weird that he would be younger than Russell Westbrook, but maybe they go the Sean McVay route, hiring a young head coach. But I don't know. Maybe the Wizards are trying to hold out to get somebody, but I guess a lot of people don't they like Wes Unseld because he's a great player, but he's also his dad is a great player, but he's also a terrible GM and seems a little bit like nepotism, getting another. I mean, even his dad was a head coach of the Wizards, so the Bullets back in the day. So I'm not that excited about Wes Unseld Jr., but then again, I don't know that much about him. Maybe he's a good coach with the Nuggets, but I don't really know what the Wizards are going to do. Probably Wes Unseld Jr., but could be one of these. They've interviewed 6 other assistants, and it could be one of them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think all signs are pointing to Wes Unseld Jr. And even then, we don't really know. I mean, these assistants, they come and go as head coaches. Some of them are great. Some of them, are championship winning head coaches, and some of them just flame out in a couple of years. So it's tough to tell, but I think they will ultimately end up hiring Wes Unseld Jr. That seems to be the direction they're heading in, and just take it from there, see how it goes. One last basketball thing before we turn it back over to Carol. Team USA last night lost to Nigeria in an exhibition game. It's not the Olympics or anything. It's an exhibition game. But, Nigeria, I have to say, looks pretty good. They actually beat Argentina today, who's the fourth-ranked team in the world. They blew them out. So Nigeria is looking good ahead of the Olympics. Do you think the loss yesterday is more of a, what the hell U.S., or do you think that Nigeria is actually a good team?
Yeah, I watched that game, and it was a combination of just Nigeria getting really hot from three, and I think Team USA didn't really play that well defensively or connected. Beal actually played pretty horribly offensively. He had 2 points, 1 of 7, missed 2 free throws, but he was actually playing good defense. I think other guys I think Lillard didn't really play well defensively, and I think Durant couldn't be bothered to play defense. He was not a playoff game or anything. So it definitely felt like they didn't really weren't all in. I think Beal was all in defensively, and they were actually, despite his poor shooting output, they were still +6 when he was on the floor. But Levine, he didn't play well defensively. They're probably going to have to get, I think Middleton and Holiday they're scheduled to come, and Devin Booker. So is Chris Paul also joining the team? I forgot.
No, I don't think CP3 is, but yeah. You're right. Booker, Middleton, and Holiday all are.
Yeah, so those three will join the team, and they did give minutes to Sadiq Bey and Garland in the fourth quarter of that game. So I don't think U.S. is taking the game too seriously, but they had all their crunch time starters with 7 minutes to go. And once you give a team like that momentum, and Precious Achiuwa had an incredible block on Durant. I think Nigeria has a couple guys that didn't even play. Okoro was the top 6 pick, and they could be a good team going forward. But I think the U.S. will probably beat them the next round. More worried about a team like France, and I guess Lillard will have to play better defensively, going forward, in the international rules. But I think the U.S. will probably still be the favorites in the Olympics.
Yeah, I agree. Even the Dream Team, there's a lot of debate about this as to whether they were actually trying or not. They lost an exhibition to a bunch of college kids before the Olympics even started. So look, it happens. I wasn't too mad, honestly, that we lost to Nigeria, but you want to see them go into the Olympics looking good. But I agree. Once they get Booker, Middleton, Holiday, things should, they're definitely the best team in the world. They always have the most talent. I agree, though, that I think the rest of the world is starting to catch up a little bit. I know France has a good team for sure. Slovenia made the Olympics behind Luka Doncic. This is going to be an interesting Olympics, I think. I don't know if the U.S. is going to cruise to victory the way we normally do, but I still think we'll win the gold medal. I still think ultimately the U.S. will come out on top. Do you have anything else you want to add on basketball before we turn it back over to Carol?
No, not really basketball, but the Nats actually just drafted Dusty Baker's son, and it's the second day of the MLB.
The Nats did?
Yeah.
Ah, how about that? Hopefully he does a better job for him than his dad did as the manager.
He did get to the playoffs. The Nats.
He didn't get to the World Series or anything.
Yeah, he didn't get to the World Series, but Dusty was still a quality manager. He's doing okay.
Yeah,
you probably don't like him now because he's in Houston too, so that's probably add to it.
Yeah. I've never been a huge Dusty Baker fan personally. I've said this before. He's just one of those guys just can't get you to the finish line. He get you close. He's gotten teams close many times, but he's just never finished. And he's blown a lot of big leads, too, in playoff series as well. We saw it with the Nats. So, I've never been the biggest Dusty Baker fan, but I am glad the Nats drafted his son.
No doubt. And Second round, Juan Soto has 11 home runs after regulation time. He earned an extra minute bonus, so he's looking to try to add to that total because Alonso put up 35 total home runs in the first round, and he is a defending champion. So Soto's definitely going to have to put a 20 spot up on his board. So hopefully he gets hot in the last minute of this home run derby. And I guess we're going to get ready to wrap it up since you guys did a great job of breaking down the finals and getting ready for game 4. And Arun, how's the podcast going? I haven't even had a chance to check it out if you started already. How's everything going with the podcast and what you got going on?
It's good. I put out a couple more episodes. Last episode was pretty short because I only did a wrap up of game 1 of the NBA finals. That game wasn't very exciting. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'll do more content. I did watch a lot of soccer, but not sure if people want to hear me talk about soccer. Maybe I'll talk more about the NBA finals, and we'll see. Maybe about this MLB draft. I think a lot of people are talking about it. They actually scheduled the MLB draft the same night as one of the games, the NBA finals. I think they could do a better job marketing it, but it is what it is, and we have this commissioner who's not very good.
I can dig it. Brian, what you got going on with your podcast and everything? I know you probably having some Yankees rants going on about that.
Yeah, I actually I took last week off. I don't know. I had a meeting early on Friday morning, and I was just like, I'm not going to rush home to record the podcast. I'm just going to take this week off. But I will be back this week. I might honestly drop a bonus episode tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, and I kind of want to talk about the first half of the season for the Yankees, just the first half of the season, Major League Baseball in general. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, stay tuned for Friday. The episode I've got coming out there. I would actually like to very briefly talk about soccer. Yesterday was the Euro final. It went to penalties between Italy and England, and it was a great, it was exciting. Unfortunately, I was rooting for England, and unfortunately, they lost on penalties. But I just gotta say to the people who are giving the 3 people who missed penalties for England, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Bukayo Saka, racism. They're being racist towards them. Please stop. I mean, that is just awful. It's disgusting. I hate it. They don't deserve it. They are young kids. They missed a penalty kick. That means you get to be a racist asshole about it. I'm sorry. I can't. I have no tolerance for that at all, and I think it should be stopped. But other than that, it was a great tournament and a great final. I'm bummed England lost, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thanks for having me on, Carol. Check out Upon Further Review with Brian Brennan, either the bonus episode tomorrow or whenever my regularly scheduled episode drops on Friday. And come visit me in the Spy Store at the International Spy Museum. And thanks for having me on, Carol.
I appreciate it as always. Make sure you guys tune in Thursday night for our Washington football team special, myself and Dujanae. We'll be breaking down all the off-season moves, the free agents, and the draft picks, and we'll be doing the schedule breakdown show. So make sure you tune in Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and end the show with a couple of the highlights of the last 2 weeks. It's not many, but a couple of videos I put together when the Nationals are playing well. Then, as always, going to end the show with Renegade 703. He'll be performing live down in Miami for his second trip. He did such a great job back in May. They're calling him down there again. I was trying to get down there for the trip, but unfortunately, I'll be working trying to sell some cars. So we'll play another Renegade video, and make sure you tune in next week for another great episode of Sports on the Hill podcast, bringing you the best DC sports coverage around. And appreciate y'all checking us out and tuning in, and continue to follow us. DC Sports about the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do.